Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, and welcome to Knowledge Talks, a weekly edutainment and knowledge sharing program aired live specifically to share knowledge with you that contributes to the society. Every week, Knowledge Talks hosts and invites guests that are experts, professionals, and leaders from the field that bring wealth of knowledge to you. Knowledge Talks also highlights and promotes talents in the country that contributes knowledge and success to the nation. This program, ladies and gentlemen, is a weekly session that I will have with you every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. I'm your host Raphael Al along with our studio engineer DJ Saleh for an hour bringing you free knowledge at your doorsteps on Oman Radio FM 90.4. Okay, stay tuned after this music break for today's interesting knowledge topic. Okay, welcome back to Knowledge Talk, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host Raphael Al along with our studio engineer DJ Saleh Al Masrouri with you here live today on Oman Radio FM 90.4. Now, do you know what it takes to design and construct a building? Well, my guest today is Jamal Al Zeedi, an energetic and visionary Omani architect who combines local knowledge and understanding with international education and experience. Jamal graduated from the University of Queensland in Australia and worked for 2 years at Noel Robinson Architects Trading as Arc Global. Jamal is known for his creative flair, visionary thinking, broad skills, and hands-on commitment to projects. Jamal has a range of experience in designing education, tourism, commercial, residential, and worship buildings. Jamal will be sharing with us today his journey into the world of architects and what does it take to succeed and what does it mean to be an entrepreneur in this world, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, Ustad Jamal.
Alaikum assalam, Mr. Tariq. Thank you for the interview and for the invitation tonight to be here.
The honor is not only mine, by the way. The honor is with everyone in Oman to listen to you and learn from you today, Jamal, mashallah.
It's a pleasure.
From a very good and an established entrepreneur, mashallah.
Thank you.
Jamal, could you please tell us about your architect journey?
Well, that's quite a long journey. It started a long time ago.
Okay.
I've always liked to build things.
Okay.
Make things out of nothing. Build castles, build, use the sand, like all of us like that, I guess.
Yes.
Play in the beach and make castles in the sand, and it has been developing since then. And I've always wanted to sort of create things, and that's the pleasure of architecture. That's the enjoyment of it. It's an idea. You put it in paper and it becomes real.
Okay.
And
So from putting a picture or a vision into reality, that's what an architect does, right?
Exactly. It's a translation of client requirement first of all,
Okay.
combined with engineering knowledge, architectural engineering knowledge, and coordination,
Okay.
and lots of creativity, of course, and
Okay.
understanding of the regulations and the
Okay.
rules. Put that all in a blender, mix it together, and it becomes a building.
A beautiful thing, a creativity.
Exactly.
Mashallah.
Exactly.
So you are an architect.
Yes.
Mashallah. And what made you get into architect is the love of creating things.
Exactly.
Mashallah.
Exactly. Architecture is one of the main field of creativity, I believe, and it has always been a sign or a form of art ever since history. So whatever building we put in this earth, it's got to have a message. It's got to have an identity. It got to have something to tell people after 30, 40 years that, this building was designed by this company, and it has that touch of art. So whatever we do today is going to be significant or not afterwards. And if we look at the historical buildings, like forts and castles, I'm sure at the time when they were built, it was something created out of necessity. A castle is for protection and so on. But now we understand it's really making the whole culture. These buildings are masterpieces that we have to be preserved, and that's exactly what we should do as architects. Whatever building we put in, no matter what it is, small, big, no matter what the use of it, after 30, 40, 100 years, if it lasts that long, it becomes historical, it becomes important. Or not, of course.
No, inshallah, with whatever you're doing, it will become important. Because what I see from you is, mashallah, vision. And that's beautiful. And what I see from you is creativity. And that's what you love doing. And mashallah, anyone who does things with niyyah salih, inshallah, Allah ja'alha kula khair, inshallah. I like that. I like that from you. Now, I want to know one thing. Architect, the way you're saying, is building houses, building castles, building things, right? And you're saying message with every building. That's what you're saying. Every building built should have a message.
Exactly. We design buildings.
Okay.
And the other parties do the construction.
Okay.
So we do the design, and each building will have a message, certainly.
Give an example of some of a building with messages.
Like one of the main messages we're sending currently is sustainability.
Okay. Oh, good.
Buildings that are environmentally friendly.
Okay.
That preserved energy and resources. So that's we believe that's something that all architects should do. All professions should move towards that. We have to preserve the environment.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main messages we need to send in our buildings. Certainly not all buildings have the capability of accepting sustainability messages or sustainability concepts. Some of them, they've got some limitations, of course, budget, of course, and other constraints that pulls it away from sustainability. But we always have to make at least a simple steps, and make the simple tools, simple elements that serve some energy in that building. It doesn't have to be all fully green. It doesn't have to be like that. Just simple. Go simple, and it should be okay.
Yeah, I like the way you describe simplicity with a bit of complexity, because designing is not a simple thing. But I like the way you put it as designing a complex thing in a simple way. That reminds me of Steve Jobs. And I see a Steve Jobs in you, mashallah.
No, thank you. That's a
even better than Steve Jobs. Not even could be better than Steve Jobs. The Omani Steve Jobs. So I like the way you think of it. Now, tell me one thing. You are the managing director of Earth Global in Oman, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes. You are the managing director. This company, is it an international company, franchise that you're doing, or because the name? Why am I asking you this question? Is about the name.
Well, it started as an international company, international Omani joint venture company called EARC.
Okay.
And in 2013, the company becomes a fully Omani company.
Okay, started. When did it start?
2008.
So you started 2008.
So the EARC is an international company based in Australia, and I've worked with them for 2 years.
Okay.
And of course, we worked together for 6 years in Oman. And then in 2013, it becomes an Omani company. And the name was added, so it becomes EARC Sabla. Sabla, as you know, it's an Omani terminology, just Omani, that refers to a space that people get together, discuss, and make consultations and make decisions. And that's what we do as a consultant, engineering and architecture.
Okay. What does it stand for, EARC?
EARC. Well, ARC
Architecture.
is architecture.
Yeah.
E is the fun part of it. It's exciting. It's environmental. It's ecological.
I love that.
It's evocative. It's engineering, architecture. It has lots of layers of meanings to it.
Complexity in a simple way.
Exactly.
MashaAllah, that's what I like. The name is complex, but in a simple way. See, EARC, architecture, and E is with a lot of things. Exciting, excellent, amazing. It's a lot, emphasized in a big way as well. MashaAllah, I like that. You started in 2008. Now, you were, I see some relation here. You graduated from Queensland in Australia.
Yes.
And you worked with them.
Exactly.
And then you have thought about, I like doing architect, I like designing. That's your passion. That's where when you were born, that's what you started with.
Exactly.
You came back to Oman and you said, I'll start a business with them, right?
Exactly.
Did you work any place before?
No. Well, yes and no. I trained before that.
Okay, in Australia?
In Australia and in Oman as well.
Okay, as a teaching assistant?
Sorry?
As a teaching assistant, TA?
No. I worked part-time and full-time in a number of companies in Oman during the holidays and during a period of time where the university required some practical experience.
Yeah.
So I had the pleasure of working or training in one of the leading companies in architecture and engineering in Oman.
Very good. MashaAllah.
So that was really I was really lucky to get that exposure in Oman and in Australia as well.
MashaAllah. I think your hard work was more stronger than the lucky, I think. Because I can see where you're coming from. Starting in Australia and teaching in Australia. And definitely that would require someone to be hardworking and excellent in their manner. So I can see the hard work is more of a weight than the luck.
Well,
you're trying to be humble.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Well, hard work has to be there.
Yeah.
You know, you talk to any real successful person and they will tell you luck is a small percentage, maybe 2-3%, and the rest of it is really hardcore hard work. Trying again, do it with different tools, do it with other people. You know, it's sleepless nights, and people who study architecture, they would know that it requires repetitive sleepless nights to make it through.
And a fruitful future, inshallah.
Of course.
Yeah. So you're the managing director of EARC in Oman.
Yeah, EARC Sabla.
And EARC Sabla, and it's located. Where it's located?
Al Khuld.
Yes. How many employees do you have right now?
Well, the number goes up and down, and since 2008, we've fluctuated depending on the projects and the commitments. We got up to 10 at some time. We went down to 4 to 3. We went up to 6. So it goes up and down, and you know, with the current employment and Omanization requirements, things get a bit challenging. So the numbers goes up and down.
It fluctuates, but at the end of the day, it's a successful journey. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, definitely.
What buildings have you designed so far?
There's so many of them, Tariq. Alhamdulillah. Well, let's talk about the main ones. We had the pleasure of designing and executing Suhar University,
MashaAllah,
which consists of about 16 buildings, if I remember. Phase 1 is completed, which is consisting of 5 buildings: the engineering faculty, business faculty, a library and a service compound. The library is a really landmark. If you ever drive towards Batina, towards Suhar, you will see it. It's a lovely piece of architecture.
MashaAllah,
It's one of
MashaAllah.
those buildings that I think in 50 years time it will be listed as,
Historical.
that should be preserved.
MashaAllah.
Yeah,
That's very good.
inshallah.
So would you say that Suhar University was one of your best designs?
I would say yes, one of the main designs we did in Suhar, and we really had fun designing it and running the show.
How long does it take to design a building?
Oh, it depends. All depends. If we talk about it, all depends on the usage of that building and the size of it, of course. Since we talk about educational, if we say an educational building like a faculty, so it has classrooms and labs and offices. So if it's just one building, one faculty, it will take 3 months to 4 months to design. The approval parts take some time, of course. Then execution, the construction part of it, would take from 12 to 15 months. It goes up and down, of course. Depends on how fast is the execution processes. If we talk about an industrial building, which we do as well, factories and warehouses, these types of buildings are fast. And there's a number of financial elements dependent on it. So time is money, as they say. So we have to build the factory, design the factory fairly quickly, equip it, build it, and then equipment, and then start manufacturing. So design would take 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Execution will take less, say 6 to 9 months if it's about 20,000 to 30,000 square meter. So it all depends.
Depends on the requirement, depends on the size, and a lot of factors that is involved.
Exactly.
You do constructions as well? So you design is one element.
Yeah.
Secondly is the deconstruction of it.
No, we do the supervision, the post-contract, the supervision of the construction.
Okay.
So we design the building, we prepare the drawings, which are required for the contractor, the builder. And the builder, who's a different entity, of course, he will take the drawings and start digging and building. And we will do the supervision, just ensuring that the contractor is building as per the drawings and the specifications.
Okay, let me put a bit of practicality into the theory that we were discussing right now. I want a building. I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
Jamal, I want to design a building. Or I want to have a building. So how does the flow of discussion or interaction or process goes from there?
Let's say a building for Tariq is, let's make it simple, a villa.
Okay.
Alright, so it will start with a client interview, talking to the client, extracting information from the client, understanding his mentality, his sometimes his culture, his way of living. So one of the questions would be, do you require a male majlis and a female majlis? Do you require the sala, the living room, to be a separate room or open plan? Do you require the kitchen to be part of the building or separated from the building to reduce the smells coming into? How many family members, how many bedrooms you require? 2, 3, 4. It depends on the person. Sometimes we go into more detail of, Tariq. Well, I assume that you are a social person, so you get lots of guests into your house, so you would require a big majlis accommodating 30 people maybe. So is that correct or not? You will tell me yes or no. If yes, then the majlis goes big, and or not, or it goes small. So there's lots of extraction of information from the client. And then we take this raw information and we study the site. Where is the orientation? Where is the sun rising and setting? Where is the the western sun, which is the heavy and strong, which is something we try to eliminate, something try to avoid, and we try to, if possible, sometimes the plot is small, of course, but if it's big, we will orientate the building towards north, because north is the soft orientation that gets the least sun exposure, and mostly shaded. So we will try to orientate them that northern aspect, and also southern aspect as well is also nice, but we'll try to avoid western, as I said. Then we combine now tariq requirements, site opportunities, and constraints. If it's a slopey site or flat, if it has a view looking at the park, so we utilize that. We combine these together, and of course we add in our touch of architecture, of a modern architecture with Omani flavor. Mix that all together. We do the concept design, we present it to the client, get some feedback, then refine it more, implement more changes, and then when the client is happy with the design, then we proceed to formalities and the heavy engineering requirements and drawings, and after that the last stage, which is getting the approvals from related authorities, municipality, Ministry of Housing, and so on. When it's approved, then we put in some more detailing, construction detailing. Then we appoint a contractor with the client's, of course, involvement. We appoint a contractor, and we start the fun of converting an idea
into reality.
to reality.
No, that's good. I like the journey that you shared. I see a lot of passion in it as well, and I'm sure you enjoy doing what you're doing as the owner, the managing director, and also as an entrepreneur himself. The question I have is two things. One is, what would it take for someone to become an architect? Of course, an education, I know, and being passionate, but what kind of education is there? I mean...
Well, it's an interesting question. You really have to have that passion. That's number one requirement. Yeah. It will be useful also to have some artistic touch. You've got to draw. That's one of the consistent advices that we used to get during college, is just keep drawing. And if a person has just a bit, you don't have to be a painter, but you should have some artistic touch. You should have some ability to convey some ideas into pencil, into paper. If you have that skill, then it helps to go through the architecture course.
Would you say an architect is a born or a made kind of a skill?
I would say made.
Made, huh?
But if you have that skill since you're young age, it will excel your ability towards success.
Okay, I think it's quite important for someone probably go to the sands and the beach and start seeing, or going to the beach and start seeing people who are building castles and houses in the beach and say, you are going to be an architect. Or you are going to be Jamal Al Zeedi tomorrow. I think that's one of the things that can show the sign. We're going to take a quick break right now for Adhan al-Maghrib, and we'll return back with our program. Exciting discussion, valuable knowledge shared, and of course with a very great personality like Jamal Al Zeedi today, a visionary Omani architect who is with me here sharing his journey, his success, and the learning of how to become a successful entrepreneur. Jamal, we discussed before the Adhan break on your life as an entrepreneur, as an architect per se. We spoke about what does it mean to be an architect, your experience, your journey, the building that you have worked in. Now what I would like to know is, you are an owner of a business. Of course, owner of a business that you have started and had a passionate with, i.e. the architect. What is your advice for someone that has an idea in any area? Specifically today is on architect, but I would like to know from you as an entrepreneur, what's your advice for someone who has an idea to go out there and start a business? What does he or she need to do or need to have in order to have a successful business?
Well, this topic has been going for some time now, since establishment of the SME Authority and Raphael, of course. Many people started thinking seriously to establish their firms. Planning is one of the most essential requirement for establishing any business. You've got to have a business plan. You've got to have before that a business idea to make sure that business idea is going to be success, profitable and enjoyable for yourself. Once you've got the idea, you've got to do lots of research about it to ensure that that it's not going to be repeated, and it's a special one, and it's something that will strike immediately, you know. Some ideas, they don't have that flair, you know. Some ideas are repeated, like Karak Cafe or something, you know.
Or Dish Dash,
or Dish Dash, you know. So you've got to do that study to
be unique.
Yeah, be unique. Make the research of the market, understand the business well from all angles: employment, financial, marketing, and once you do that study, compile it together, do a proper business plan, just to put the figures together. How much does it cost to establish the office? What does it take to employ people? How much do you require for the first year to run the business and to get the equipments and all of that? You've got to have that plan. So really, planning. That's the way to go.
That's the way to go. So you need to have. So your advice to people who have an idea and they want to go and start up a business, planning is thing that they have to have. They have a good idea, unique, and they have to do a lot of planning.
Exactly, and that business plan has to be a live document. So it's not something we do then we just shove it in the
drawer. Or something, yeah.
No, you've got to go back to it once every couple of months and see is it going the right direction? What can we do to improve? Oh, okay, we're falling short in here. Let's improve it. Let's get some cash here. Let's ask for cash from that authority or from let's get projects from that angle. Having diversity, a basket of income is quite important, so that you don't rely on one source type. In our case, for example, we do industrial buildings, we do hotels, we do villas.
Oh, very good.
We do educational buildings, so it's about, we can also do hospitals. So it's a basket of potential projects that we can always pursue and direct our thinking towards it. So be flexible. If we're just selling just one type of phone, then really it's phone. The phone business. It goes very fast. So it's got to have that flexibility to attach to it different types of products.
Different products and feelings as well, I think.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. Now I understand your business as well. You had a relation with Raphael as well. Could you please share us your journey, experience, and your advice for future entrepreneurs, people who would like to get into business? They've got an idea and they want to go and start up, and they want to approach a Rafid and start a business, but please share it from your experience so that people learn from your valuable experience.
Well, Rafid is really one of the great blessings of this country. Alhamdulillah. His Majesty directions are really to the core requirement of empowering entrepreneurship in general. So funds is one of the main was one of the main obstacles for SMEs, small businesses. Now the solution is Rafid. You approach, from my experience, I approached Rafid some time ago. I wanted to expand the business. I required some cash, and they required some simple things like photo ID and simple things, and business plan, which I have and keep updating. So they require that. I just printed rock up, give them the documents. Within 2 days they called me and they said, you have got an interview. In the interview they were asking about the business, how is it about, which is the easiest thing for an entrepreneur to talk about his business. And after that, immediately I got the approval. You can come and collect the cash.
Wow.
It's really a real blessing. So any Omani entrepreneur or who's thinking of establishing his firm, his business, really the way to go is Rafid. No other way. There are other ways, of course, but
Rafid is the best way.
It's the best, definitely the best. And the amount of cash and assistance they offer is quite substantial. That with the planning, with the Allah help, of course,
Alhamdulillah.
combine that, it's success is quite easy.
Magnificent, mashallah.
Yeah, it's alhamdulillah.
What you use the word "and" assistance. So one is they give you the cash, the money, which is of course important. And what kind of assistance do they give you other than the money?
Yes, well, the Rafid and the Public Authority for SME Development, they are just really one unit in the same building. So for those who don't have a business plan or a viability study, they can go to next door. Well, it's the same building. They can go next door to the SME and they will get free of charge consultation, free of charge training courses of whatever aspect you would like: project management, finance, marketing.
Really?
You name whatever training you require for your business, and they will arrange it for you
free of charge.
Free of charge.
But you need to be a entrepreneur already, or can anyone go? If you are not an entrepreneur but want to be an entrepreneur, let's say you are working for an organization XYZ and you want to be an entrepreneur, can you just walk in there and say, I want to start a business, give me a training, and they'll send you to a training?
I'm not sure about that.
So
I'm
you
not sure.
need to be an entrepreneur.
I think with the SME Authority, to get the training, you need to be entrepreneur. I think. But anyway, if that's the case, there are a number of other organizations that also offer training free of charge. I'll just mention few, like Shell have established a program called Intilaqa, which I have joined as well some time ago. And again, it's several weeks of training in the evening time, so it's flexible. And Zubair SME Center also offer that training. So it's you just ask for it and it's there free of charge. Once you got the training, you know that your idea, you have a good understanding of the idea and how to excel it, then you can approach Rafid with the business plan to get the funds.
Okay, tell me one thing. What kind of thing does an entrepreneur miss that an employee gets? You feel an employee would get A, B, C, D, but an entrepreneur would not get, or an entrepreneur will get A, B, C, D, but the employee will not get that, in your opinion? You were once an employee, and today you're an entrepreneur. What are the challenges? What are the benefits? What are the...
Well, the main benefit, I think, for an entrepreneur, especially when you are in the creative art,
Yeah.
like architecture, like any sort of creative art, it's the freedom to express your way of art.
Yeah.
Architecture is art. So when you are an entrepreneur, you have an idea that buildings should look like this. You know, and you could see around, see in Oman, see outside the type of buildings, how they look.
The structures.
Yeah. If you're an entrepreneur, you know, I like this style. I think that's the style that is going to be success. So you excel into that direction. Sometimes, which I faced that when I was an employee, I didn't have that freedom. The senior guys were always sort of directing us into that style, which sometimes I wasn't comfortable with. It's not my style, put it this way. So but discussions has to be there, of course. I always talk to our employee and ask for their opinions and ask for their ideas, and we share that knowledge, and then we come up with a solution that is, you know, good for all, that satisfy my style, and also they are happy with, delighted with, they're proud of, because we're all working in one team. So,
as a family.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like it's a decision from all of us.
How many hours do you work in a day?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. We start early and we finish after the sunset. So 10, 11.
At night?
No, 10 hours, 11 hours, sometimes less, sometimes more. It all depends.
But you're enjoying it. The most important thing is you're enjoying it. That's the difference.
Well, if you don't enjoy it, you will not put that number of hours. And we have to be careful, because we have family commitments, and we get carried out sometimes, and our wives gets upset, of course. So we have to balance that. So in the days that we work very hard, spend long hours in the office, we try our best
to compensate during the weekends, probably.
Exactly, in the weekends or in the evening, or it's difficult. It's very difficult, Tariq, but we try our best. As architects, we're known for that.
What should an employee not do? I mean, what advice you'll say to someone? Don't go into entrepreneurship if you are what? For example, you're not risk taker is one thing.
If you're hesitant, if you can't make decisions, entrepreneurship is quite difficult, because sometimes we really have to make decisions quickly, particularly with fees, for example, how much we should quote. Sometimes we have to make that decision, and we know that it's difficult. Let's make that. We're going to lose if we're going to lose a project, or we're going to run in loss, or we can't make profits. So we have to continuously make decisions. Of course, what I do, I'll brainstorm. We'll get the senior guys, we'll talk to them, extract, have discussions, and then make a decision. If you're hesitant, it's really difficult. And also employment, selecting the right team is very crucial for consultancy, because really we don't sell product, we sell knowledge, we sell experience. So selecting the right person who we know that is going to share the knowledge and be of value is very important, which we have to interact with that person sometime, a number of times,
Yeah.
to make sure that he's the right person, and then make a decision, get him in. Which, by the way, it becomes difficult now with the new rules that makes it difficult for an expat employee to change from a company to another company within Oman.
Yeah.
Now we're limited to employing from outside, which is, interviewing and extracting information. It becomes difficult. But anyway, the hesitation is really,
If he or she is hesitant, then tell them, please stay to where you are as an employee.
Yeah.
And then as an entrepreneur, normal generally, what's your feedback about them going on leave? Do you think they really go on leave? Do they mind go on leave, or is it in the business?
Well, it's been a long time since I took a leave, Tariq. A long time. I don't remember when. 2 years ago, probably. I don't know. Sometimes we just collapse and we say, okay, I'm taking 1 week break. I even switch my phone over.
And that's human being. You need to refresh yourself and
exactly. But as an entrepreneur, you wouldn't have that leisure, particularly in the early stages. Once the business take off and runs and things are smoothing, and people in the office that that they are going to run without any issues, then you can take a whole month
leave. But you don't think that normally happens in a life of entrepreneurship?
No, that's very difficult. 2 weeks is maximum for an entrepreneur to take a leave.
And do you think within that 2 weeks are you switched off completely, or you think no, you're still connected to the business?
As long as the phone is on, then I will continually sort of checking and answering phones and answering emails, or at least just reading the emails quietly.
I love speaking to you. There's a lot of learning I get personally, and I'm sure a lot of people are listening as well. And unfortunately, we have only few minutes remaining, so I'll sure that I come to your office, inshallah, in Al Khawd, for me to come and learn and see the beauty, see the creativity, and see Jamal Al Zeedi in action, inshallah.
Excellent. Well, I'll be pleased to have you in the office, Tariq.
Inshallah. Anything you wish to share to our audience before the end of our program today?
Well, thanks for listening. It's a really pleasure to be here and to share this knowledge, and enjoy what you do. That's essential. That's the crux of it,
Beautiful and very powerful word from Jamal Al Zeedi, our energetic and a visionary Omani architect. Enjoy what you do, and that's a very, very powerful word. Be passionate, enjoy what you do, and you're going to make success. That's right?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you very, very much for joining us today on Oman Radio FM 90.4 to share about your world of architect and successful journey. MashaAllah, Jamal. And I would like to take this opportunity to wish you the very best and success in all you do, inshallah.
Thank you, Tariq, for this talk today. It's a real pleasure to be here, and I look forward to see you in the office sometime.
Inshallah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our program for this week. I hope you all had an intriguing time with us. Let us see you again next week on 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday for another Knowledge Talks. Ma'as salama.